Good morning, students. This is Latif sir. Today I am going to discuss about hydrated and anhydrous substances. Hydrated and anhydrous substances. Some substances which contain water molecules along with salts like sodium carbonate decahydrate Na2CO3.10H2. Carbonate decahydrate, that means 10 water molecule present in sodium hydrated sodium carbonate, and copper sulfate pentahydrate, that means CuSO4.5H2. CuSO4, that means hydrated copper sulfate. CuSO4 contains 5H2 molecule. These are hydrated substances because this contains water molecule. And some substances which do not contain any water molecule along with the salts, and these are called anhydrous substances. So substances which contain water molecule are called hydrated substances. Example: sodium carbonate decahydrate, copper sulfate pentahydrate. And some substances which do not contain water molecule along with the salts are called anhydrous substances. Example: sodium chloride NaCl, which do not contain any water molecule. Potassium nitrate KNO3, which do not contain any water molecule. So first, hydrated substances. Again I am telling, the crystals of some salts contain water of crystallization, and this water of crystallization gives the shape of the crystal. Okay, gives the shape of the crystalline compound. And in some cases, this water of crystallization, these water molecules also gives them their color. For example, hydrated copper sulfate CuSO4 color is crystal of hydrated copper sulfate CuSO4.5H2, and color of these copper sulfate crystals, hydrated copper sulfate crystal, is blue. So copper sulfate crystals are blue in color due to presence of 5 water of crystallization, 5 molecules of water of crystallization, and such salts are known as hydrated salt. Now, what is water of crystallization? Water of crystallization. What is water of crystallization? The fixed amount of water that is associated with hydrated crystal, the fixed amount of water that is associated with hydrated crystals, which is an integral part of the crystal, is called water of crystallization. For example, hydrated copper sulfate or copper sulfate pentahydrate, which contain 5 water molecules, and these 5 water molecules are known as water of crystallization. Similarly, hydrated sodium carbonate, that means sodium carbonate decahydrate, sodium carbonate dot 10H2. So in sodium carbonate, hydrated sodium carbonate, 10 water molecules are there. So sodium carbonate, hydrated sodium carbonate contains 10 water of crystallization. So the fixed amount of water that is associated with hydrated crystals, which is an integral part of the crystal, is called water of crystallization. Here some example of compound or hydrated compounds which contain water of crystallization are given. See the table 3.2. Some salts containing water of crystallization. First salt, washing soda crystals, that means chemical name is sodium carbonate decahydrate, which contain 10 water molecules Na2CO3.10H2. Similarly, Epsom salt, chemical name is magnesium sulfate heptahydrate MgSO4.7H2, that means Epsom salt contains 7 water of crystallization. Similarly, potassium chemical name is hydrated potassium aluminum sulfate K2SO4.Al2SO4 whole thrice dot 24H2O. So potassium contains 24 water of crystallization. Okay. Similarly, gypsum, plaster of Paris, blue vitriol means hydrated copper sulfate CuSO4 5H2O, copper sulfate pentahydrate, which contain 5 water of crystallization. So this molecule contains water of crystallization. Okay, here examples given and their chemical name and formula also given. Okay, you have to read. And this water of crystallization is in loose chemical combination, not directly combined with the salt. This water of crystallization is in loose chemical combination and can be removed by heating. Okay, by heating the crystal above 100 degrees Celsius. This water of crystallization is in loose chemical combination and can be removed by heating the crystals above 100 degrees Celsius. For example, if you heat copper sulfate crystals, that is blue vitriol crystal CuSO4 dot 5H2O, which contain 5 water molecule, 5 water of crystallization, and the color of hydrated crystal is blue. Hydrated copper sulfate crystal, color of hydrated copper sulfate crystals are blue. So on heating, these 5 water molecule will remove. So these hydrated copper sulfate crystals become anhydrous, white anhydrous copper sulfate. Okay, so when crystal of hydrated copper sulfate are heated in a test tube, they turn into a white powder, which turn back into a blue solid when a few drops of water are added. So if you heat hydrated copper sulfate, blue colored hydrated copper sulfate crystals, then you will get anhydrous white copper sulfate. And again, if you add some small drop of water into anhydrous white anhydrous copper sulfate CuSO4, then you will get the hydrated copper sulfate, blue colored hydrated copper sulfate. Okay, so when blue crystals of hydrated copper sulfate are heated in a test tube, they turn into a white powder, which turns back into a blue solid when a few drop of water are added. So the chemical change behind these observations is CuSO4.5H2O, reversible arrow, above the arrow heat, which implies CuSO4 plus 5H2O. And in the backward direction, that is if you cool this CuSO4 or if you add again water into anhydrous copper sulfate, then you will get hydrated blue colored hydrated copper sulfate crystals. Okay, now anhydrous substances. First I have told about hydrated substances. Now anhydrous substances. I have told that substances which do not contain any water molecule, or salts which do not contain any water molecule, are called anhydrous substance. So a substance is anhydrous if it contains no water. For example, sodium chloride salt, crystal of sodium chloride, potassium nitrate, these are anhydrous substances. And salts lacking their water of crystallization, these salts, anhydrous salts, do not have any water molecule. That means they don't have any water of crystallization. The term anhydrous is most often applied to crystalline substances when water of crystallization is removed. Anhydrous can also refer to gaseous form of some concentrated solution such as ammonia, to distinguish it from its aqueous solution. So example of anhydrous substances: table salt, that is NaCl, which is anhydrous sodium chloride. Gaseous hydrochloric acid, hydrogen chloride HCl, is anhydrous. So anhydrous salts can be obtained from hydrated salt by carefully removing the water of crystallization from them. Anhydrous salts can be obtained from hydrated crystal by carefully removing the water of crystallization from them. And you can change hydrated crystals into anhydrous salt by direct heating the hydrated crystals, or heating in dry and hot air, or heating under vacuum, and by using dehydrating or desiccating agents such as warm concentrated sulfuric acid. You can change a hydrated substance, crystalline hydrated substance, into anhydrous substance or anhydrous salt by direct heating the hydrated crystal, or by heating the hydrated crystal in dry or and hot air, or by heating under vacuum, or by using dehydrating or desiccating agents such as warm concentrated sulfuric acid. The crystalline shape of a substance is not necessarily the result of the presence of water of crystallization. Generally, those salts containing water of crystallization are crystalline substances. That means they have definite shape and geometry. But there are many crystalline compounds which do not contains any water of crystallization. So in fact, there are a number of crystalline solids that crystallize from water without holding any water of crystallization. For example, in common salt NaCl, nitre KNO3, sugar C12H22O11, potassium permanganate KMnO4, ammonium chloride NH4Cl. These are also crystalline substances, crystalline salts, but do not contain any water of crystallization. Now see efflorescence properties of hydrated and anhydrous substances. So first efflorescence. What is efflorescence? A phenomenon where a chemical compound loses its water of crystallization on exposure to dry air is called efflorescence. A phenomenon where a compound loses its water of crystallization on exposure to dry air is called efflorescence. And due to loss of this water of crystallization, this result in loss of crystalline shape. This result in the in loss of crystalline shape, and finally the crumbling of the crystals into powder. That means due to loss of water of crystallization on exposure to dry air from a crystalline substance, hydrated crystalline salt, from a hydrated crystalline salt, due to loss of water of crystallization when exposed to dry air, the hydrated crystals become anhydrous, and the shape of crystalline shapes the due to loss of this water of crystallization, this result in the loss of crystalline shape of the hydrated crystal, and finally the hydrated crystals become into, or crystalline compound become into powder, into a powder. And substances showing efflorescence are called efflorescent substances. The substances showing efflorescence are called efflorescent substances. For example of efflorescent substances, washing soda Na2CO3 dot 10H2O, washing soda Na2CO3 dot 10H2O. When you expose this washing soda into dry air, it becomes sodium carbonate monohydrate, because that means 9 water molecule will remove from the crystals of sodium carbonate decahydrate. So Na2CO3 dot 10H2O on exposing on exposing to a dry air it becomes Na2CO3 dot H2O, monohydrated sodium carbonate plus 9H2O. Similarly, when you expose globe or salt into dry air, then you will see that all 10 water of crystallization will remove from globe salt. Globe salt means Na2SO4 dot NH2O, sodium sulfate decahydrate is known as globe salt. When you expose globe salt in dry air, you will get Na2SO4 powdered anhydrous Na2SO4, that is sodium sulfate, plus 10H2O water vapor. And Epsom salt, which contains 7H2O molecule, MgSO4.7H2, MgSO4.7H2. When you expose Epsom salt into dry air, you will get MgSO4.H2O, that means monohydrated magnesium sulfate plus 6 water. That means 6 water molecule will be removed from magnesium sulfate dot 7H2O, that is from Epsom salt. Here one note is given: higher the temperature of the air, higher is the efflorescence. This is because the air absorbs more water with rising temperature and decreasing moisture. Now, deliquescence. Deliquescence. What is deliquescence? It is just opposite of efflorescence. Certain water soluble substances, when exposed to atmosphere at ordinary temperature, water soluble substances when exposed to atmosphere at ordinary temperature, they absorb water molecule or they absorb moisture from atmospheric air and become moist and lose their crystalline form and ultimately dissolve in the absorbed water, forming a saturated solution. This is just opposite of efflorescence. In deliquescence, certain water soluble substances when exposed to the moist atmosphere at ordinary temperature, they absorb moisture from atmospheric air and become moist and lose their crystalline form and ultimately dissolve in the absorbed water, forming a saturated solution. And such substance is called deliquescent substance, and the phenomenon is known as deliquescency. Deliquescency. So deliquescence occur when vapor pressure. Deliquescence occurs when vapor pressure inside the crystal is very low compared to vapor pressure in the atmospheric air. Okay, some deliquescent substances, example caustic soda NaOH, caustic potash KOH, magnesium chloride MgCl2, zinc chloride ZnCl2, calcium chloride CaCl2, ferric chloride FeCl3. These are some example of deliquescent substance. Now, hygroscopic substances. What is hygroscopic substance? Certain substances absorb moisture, that means water vapor, from the atmosphere when they are exposed to it. Certain substances absorb moisture from the atmosphere when they are exposed to atmosphere. Such substances are called hygroscopic substances, and phenomenon is known as hygroscopy. Some example of hygroscopic substances are concentrated sulfuric acid, phosphoric acid, phosphorus pentoxide P2O5, and quicklime CaO. Hygroscopic substances have a tendency to take up moisture from the air. Now, drying and dehydrating agent. what is drying agent? Drying agents are substances that can readily absorb moisture from other substances without chemically reacting with them. Drying agents are substances that can readily absorb moisture from other substances without chemically reacting with them. For example, anhydrous calcium chloride, anhydrous zinc chloride, phosphorus pentoxide, magnesium sulfate, dry sodium sulfate. These are used to absorb water vapor from the air. And these substances are also called desiccants or desiccating agent. Almost all hygroscopic substances are desiccating agent. For example, concentrated sulfuric acid, phosphorus pentoxide, silica gel, quicklime, all these are desiccating agent. That means these substances can absorb moisture from other substances. Now, dehydrating agent. Dehydrating agent are the substances that can remove even the chemically combined water molecule from the compounds. Dehydrating agent are the substances that can remove even the chemically combined water molecule from the compounds. For example, concentrated sulfuric acid can remove water molecule from blue vitriol. Concentrated sulfuric acid can remove water molecule from blue vitriol. That means CuSO4.5H2O in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid remove all the 5H2O molecule from copper sulfate. Okay, so here concentrated sulfuric acid act as dehydrating agent. And now here given some gases are dried by passing the gas through concentrated sulfuric acid. Because concentrated sulfuric acid has strong affinity for water, so it is easily extract water from many substances. So concentrated sulfuric acid is used to dry gases. Or passing the gas through a drying tower or a U-shaped tube containing anhydrous sodium sulfate. Okay, you can also dry gases by passing them through a drying tower or a U-tube containing anhydrous sodium sulfate. Similarly, you can also dry a gas by passing through a drying bulb containing anhydrous calcium chloride. Quicklime, which is a drying agent, is used for the drying ammonia gas. So quicklime, being basic in nature, is suitable for drying ammonia gas. Ammonia gas is basic gas, and basic gas will not react with a base. So quicklime is used in the for drying ammonia gas. And liquids are dried by keeping them overnight over anhydrous sodium sulfate or magnesium sulfate or calcium chloride at room temperature. And solids are dried by spreading them on a watch glass and keeping it in a desiccator for some days. What is desiccator? A desiccator is an airtight glass vessel with a suitable drying agent. Generally, anhydrous calcium chloride is used in a desiccator. Okay, a desiccator is an airtight glass vessel with a suitable drying agent, and the drying agent used is anhydrous calcium chloride CaCl2 placed at the bottom, and it is used for drying the solids placed in it. Okay, so today I have discussed about hydrated and anhydrous substances and some properties like efflorescence or efflorescence, deliquescence. Okay, all you have this thing you have to remember, you have to memorize with example and their definitions. Okay, and what is hygroscopic substances, drying and dehydrating agent with examples and definitions. Okay, thank you.